Hello everyone, it's Mr. Jewell from Pace. I hope you're keeping well. I hope you've been having fun and that you've been taking care. I've really missed not coming into your school to tell you Bible stories, so we've arranged for me to do one via video instead. I'm sure that you've been learning lots of new skills and doing some fun things during lockdown. Maybe you've written some good stories, maybe you've drawn or painted some brilliant pictures, maybe you've made some special things. But not everything about lockdown has been great, has it? Some things haven't happened. Some things have been missed. Maybe you missed celebrating a birthday with some special friends. Maybe you'd been hoping to go on holiday but couldn't. Maybe you wanted to play sport with some friends or visit someone special, and those things haven't happened. I was really disappointed because I was supposed to be going to my nephew's wedding in this summer. Jake and Emma were going to get married and we were going to go and celebrate with them, but now we're not going to be able to celebrate until December. So that's made us a little bit sad. In the Bible, there was another wedding that didn't go according to plan. I'm going to tell you the story about that wedding. It's a wedding that Jesus was invited to. Now, I'm not surprised that Jesus was invited to the wedding. He's the sort of person that all sorts of different people would want to have at their special day. He would have made it even more special. Well, Jesus was invited to this wedding, but also the disciples were invited to, and also Jesus' mother Mary. They all went to this wedding. And in those days, a wedding would have included the whole village and would have lasted for a whole week. There would have been all sorts of celebration and speeches and all sorts of special things going on. There would have been dancing. There would have even been torchlight processions. A really, really special event. But something went wrong at the wedding. You see, the wine that the people drank as they were celebrating, it ran out. It's just like if you went to Pizza Hut, say, for once, and the 7-Up and the Pepsi and the Diet Pepsi and the Tango all ran out, all at the same time. That would have been really disappointing, wouldn't it? Well, when the wine ran out, Mary, Jesus' mother, went and told Jesus. She said, "They've no more wine." And then she turned to his disciples and said to the disciples, "Do whatever he tells you." Jesus looked around, and nearby there were 6 big stone water jars. They would have come up to about here on me. They were absolutely enormous. They would contain about 100 litres of water each. Well, Jesus said to the disciples that they were to go and take those big stone water jars and fill them with water. Water? What use would water be? It was wine that they'd run out of. But the disciples, they did whatever Jesus told them to do. So that's what they did. They filled the big stone water jars full to the brim with water. The master of the banquet, the man in charge of the wedding, went to the big stone water jars and he drew out some of the contents. And when he drew it out of the water jars, he found that the water had changed. He looked at the wine. He smelled the wine. He tasted the wine. He was amazed not only that the water had been changed to wine, but it tasted so delicious. It was the best wine that he'd ever tasted before. He went to the bridegroom and said, "Normally at a wedding, the people who are hosting the wedding, they bring out the best wine first, but you've saved the best wine till last. This wine is absolutely delicious. Sip it, taste it, smell it. It's absolutely amazing." Jesus had done his first miracle. Jesus had seen a problem and he'd sorted it out. He'd solved it. And people, for the first time, got a special clue as to how special Jesus really was. It's a brilliant story. One of the first stories about Jesus, one of the first stories about a miracle that he did. But that story, told 2,000 years ago, also includes two special reminders for us just now. The first reminder is this: problems often bring the best out of people. That happened in the story, didn't it? Jesus was faced with a problem and he solved that problem by doing something really special. He did his first miracle and he produced the best wine. You know, as we think about the times that we're in at the moment, in the midst of the problems we've been facing, it's brought out the best in all sorts of different people. The brilliant NHS workers, other key workers, delivery drivers, shop assistants, your brilliant teachers, even you've done brilliant things during lockdown. You've been really kind to people, I'm sure. You've been caring and helpful. So the problems that we've been in have helped bring the best out of people. But the other little lesson to remind ourselves of is the importance of following instructions, doing the right thing. Do you remember the disciples? They did whatever Jesus told them to do. And the outcome was brilliant. The water was changed to wine and the wedding went off without a hitch after that. In the same way, we've had to follow lots of instructions recently, haven't we? We had to stay at home. We had to stay 2 meters apart. We've had to keep washing our hands. Well, we've followed those instructions and we've done the right thing. And that's something that we need to keep on doing now. And you know, for some of us, we're beginning to think, maybe beginning to get ready to go back to school. And we need to think about how we're going to do that. We need to think about carrying on, following those instructions, doing the right things. We need to be ready for new routines and going into classrooms that perhaps look a little bit different. Remember the wise advice. Do the right thing. Do whatever you're told to do. You've listened brilliantly, as you always do. Just before I go, remember two other things that Jesus often said. He often said, don't be afraid. And he also often said, love your neighbour as yourself. Continue to do those two things too as well, won't you? Been great to see you. Have fun, take care, and hopefully before very long, I'll see you in a school